Gonna be Viscera first up versus Beast, locking him out of that fear, or locking him out of some kind of spell. I'm not really sure, but it's gonna be Mortal Cold. Does not have the Shroud. Tried to go for a bit of a tail swap, but I think Beast was just out of range as Viscera tried to see if he could back up out of there for just a moment. Looking to catch up on a bit of healing, trying to avoid the entire demonic army. Gonna go for a big Shadow versus Beastly. Fear to follow is gonna put Viscera in a bit of a weird situation. Does get himself a big disintegrate. Maybe can fight through the defenses of Beastly, knocking him back, but he's gonna go for a big old port. Viscera looking for a bit of recovery. Viscera, does he not run Shroud? Oh, so apparently he only used Shroud. I'm not sure where he used Shroud, but apparently he did. Big deep breath of the beast. He does get himself the dark back to follow. It's going to be a lockdown onto Viscera. Does drop down in fear together with the bonds of fell, but Viscera's fear is going to end up running him out of it. That's also going to be the obelisk down on the ground. Viscera definitely should take down the obelisk as soon as possible. Going to be bonds of fell. Viscera, does he want to burn it? He doesn't really want to, but he's got out in the open with that tyrant. It's going to knock up all the pets for just a second. Beast still has an obelisk down as the tyrant does get a bit of an angle on ya. I think Viscera may be in a bit of trouble. Beastie is just able to corral him away from him, just kind of pushing him away to the other side of the arena entirely as he's trying to avoid as many pets as he can. Not a lot of mana already. Got him some big mastery, but looks like the double Felguard does end up eliminating him. With Kevin Landers charging now, big spear onto Beastie, but a Mortal Cold running him out. That's going to be a port for Beastie, but can't really go anywhere at all. Just locked down next to Kevin. And the warrior has you exactly where he wants ya. Storm bolted. Fear to fall, could Zerker Rage out of it, unless he doesn't run Zerker Rage, which would have been weird. Bonds of fall for Beastie. Does get locked out on fire. Does Beastie go down here? Got himself the dark back. Fear onto all these pets. Is going to be able to go for a bit of a drain versus Kevin. Kevin can't really interrupt it, but as long as Kevin can get himself a bit more sustained damage, he'll be okay. Beastie is under execute range. Bonds of fall to follow. Trying to see if I can walk Kevin out of it. Kevin got himself reflect in case he needs to, but doesn't actually need it. He's going to charge out towards Parasite immediately. Why? He's got himself that enraged reach out. Parasite goes in for a backflip, gives him immunity from that storm bolt into a quick eye beam just to activate Metamorphosis. Stun to Kevin. Big break. That's going to be a lot of damage. Kevin, can he survive? He does barely survive the big blade dance. It looks like Parasite backing up out of there. Just got himself a hit and run. Looking to bleed out Kevin. Hitting him with an imprisoned Kevin if he has a way to break out of that prison. Potentially Zerker Rage out of this one. Has himself reflect in case Parasite got any kind of damage for him. Able to at least reduce the magic damage taken. If not perfectly reflected, at least can kind of reduce it. Storm bolted and Parasite does himself eventually to back it up out of the Kevin charging out. It's going to get him rooted up. It's going to be Demon spawning for Parasite, which is perfect for him. Kevin back it up out of the entirely. Full Metamorphosis sleeping on top of Kevin with a Thunderfall. I think I might just have him. And Parasite does end up eliminating him. With Diabolical is going to be up next. Has to find a way to fight through the Demon Hunter. Unable to really set up a proper set of ports and gateways. Does end up at least setting up a tiny little port. But maybe can use the Soul Burn ability to set up a proper gateway later. It's going to be dropping a big Obelisk, moving away from Parasite. Obelisk and all these pets are going to be chasing after the Demon Hunter. Got himself a Shadow Mill to at least avoid all these pets together with a Blur. That's quite a lot of defenses committed actually. Got a full imprison on Diabolics. Maybe can go for a Sigil of Fear. Does go for a full stun on all the pets as well as the Warlock. Is that enough for the Demon Hunter to recover here? Needs himself one more Vengeful Retreat. Immune to CC for a short moment. Does Diabolics have anything here? Oh, Glaive Toss does end up taking him down. As Parasite barely, narrowly does end up taking him though. With Chilpos around the corner, stun into Parasite, just sending in the main pet. I think he may just end up playing it super steady, and we'll just go in, execute, walk away from Parasite, just leave him over there, isn't he? Blind into Parasite, pulling him out of the darkness, letting that execute pop on him. That's so perfect. He did exactly what to do that. He went to walk in, hit him with an execute, blind him, leave him AFK, not let him recover health, and just let the execute do work. But then I had to grip him out of the darkness the last second. That is so good. DJ Flex up next as a survival hunter, trying to make sure you get Chilpos all tagged up. The magic damage Chilpos could actually deal with. All those fire damage from the grenades, the poison damage from the serpent stings. Chilpos could actually deal with that quite easily, but the physical damage of the Mongoose Bites, the flank and strike, kill commands, as well as the kill shots will actually be kind of difficult. Chilpos needs to play this safe. He needs to play it in such a way where he just stun locks DJ, puts a full army on him, is going to stun lock him really early, and DJ forced to use a trinket right then and there, but now that DJ no longer has a trinket, Chilpos trying to see if he can group him back in over and over, locks him down with a stun from the main part for just a second, blind to follow. Does DJ just die to the execute? It may. Hold on a second. Is it going to be out of the execute range? Turtle Shell to follow. Looks like the Turtle Shell with a Battle Master Trinket, maybe let him escape that execute window. Potentially. DJ trying to go for a little bit of recovery. Battle Master Trinket not going to really help you much. Scatter shot on Chilpos for a second. Trap on the pet. And Chilpos going to go for the grip. I think as long as he got the execute, he'll be okay. But instead of the execute, he's just going to go finishing the job. Taking him out of the game. But Chicago going to be up next, trying to go for a bit of an honor duel versus Chill Pills. He gets to go for at least a couple of death strikes. So as long as Chill Pills plays this carefully yet again, like he's done with everybody else here so far tonight, gets a full army of the dead, let the execute do work, I think he's going to be in a fantastic spot, but we'll have to wait potentially to get himself a full army of the dead together with a dome coming down. Going to be a Sunder. Big aesthetics procs for Chicago. Can Triple survive this? A lot of this damage is a mixture of physical and magical, but he can only deal with the magical portion, but the physical just rips right through his armor, just rips right through his defenses, try to go for a bit of a heal. But he does have the A-bomb coming back very soon. Apocalypse at the ready, could go for the full pet empowerment if you could just live long enough just to get all these pets up and running. AMS to try to help him give a bit of more survivability, may have to go for a death pack really early here. That's going to be all his pets actually surrounded inside of the static totem, can't really escape it either. All his pets are just losing a lot of that value, having to chase back up to Chicago. But they're going to be falling apart here in just a mere moments. Chill Pills does go for the death pack here, so it looks like Chicago has been able to deal with the army of the undead for a while. The Death Knight may be slowed down here by quite a bit. Not a lot of health to really work, but Chicago, I think, has him exactly right where he wants him. Chill Pills is going to have to play very carefully. Barely surviving. Doesn't have a lot of self-survivability at this point with 50% dampening. Blind. Maybe can have himself a proper go. He just needs a full entire army. Apocalypse? Maybe pets, maybe gargoyle, just let the pets do work to Chicago, maybe put an execute on him. Potentially he's trying to go in for all in, man. Last Hail Mary, maybe it'll be nothing, maybe he can overpower. Oh, he does end up overpower Chicago. That stun got his full army of the dead coalescing around. Big execute, let the pets keep adding pressure just to keep Chicago's health low enough for the execute to go off. That is exactly how you had to do it. As soon as you get a trick out of him, you have to live long enough just to get a proper setup. Let the pets do work, let the execute do work. But if Stormlight can get him out in the open, full silence, lock him down, he could be in a bad spot. That's going to be a lot of damage out of the Shadow Priest. But the Priest is surrounded by the army of the undead. Looks like went in for a silence onto the Valkyrie to try to reduce a lot of the damage that thing can do. But the Valkyrie is going to be able to get a bit of damage back to Stormlight. Still surrounded. That's a big A-bomb transform. Big Mages to the dead casting in your back. And they think the Valkyrie is trying to get a better angle on you, or did that thing gone? No, the Valkyrie just reset where Chill Pills is at. Weird. Is that because they got silenced? He just like stopped doing anything at all. Storm actually going in for a disperse. They're trying to go for as much recovery as they can while behind the pillar. That is a little unfortunate. That's a pretty big defensive getting used, getting burned really early on. Chill Pills barely alive around the pillar, can use the AMS in order to give himself a little bit of cover against the match damage. Full Pez join in, full armor of the dead, stun locked by the main pet, has him in the execute range, it does take him. He just needs to wait long enough until he can get the army to 4. Chills, what the hell is this? Actually bringing it back for his team, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it. It was him and Val on that team too, man. Not giving Val a chance to play at all. That's unfortunate.